Good morning and thanks for joining us. I'm Veronica Miller and this is Goodwill, Manasota's Good News, where we share with you the good that's happening in our community. But first, I want to talk about the importance of Memorial Day. It's more than just a barbecue. For many people, I need to remind you that it's for those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom, but also our safety. So anytime you see someone wearing the cloth of our nation, please take the time and thank them for their service. What we show on the screen right now is we are also having a wonderful event called Salute the Runway. It's a fashion show and dinner, and it's honoring, 9 amazing women veterans in our community. And we also have the wonderful retired Colonel Linda Gold as our keynote speaker. She actually broke the glass ceiling in many cases in the U.S. Army, so we are thrilled to have her. And I will be the MC, so that'll be fun too. We also have a bunch of events coming up. We also, if you're thinking about, oh, what am I going to do for summer? Well, why don't we sizzle up your wardrobe and come to one of the Goodwill image-free consultation seminars. So there it is. Go on our website, experiencegoodwill.org, under events, and see where we will be. It's free. It's wonderful. If you watched a few shows back, Sharon Stewart, who is an image consultant, is actually coming in and will be telling you what your color is. You look fabulous, by the way. No, you don't need it. And speaking of fashion, just in case
can they help me?
Oh, I definitely hope you do show up. But anyway, I'm kidding. We also have another wonderful fashion show in July. So save the date for this. It's our second Little Black Dress event. And we are partnering with the Girl Scouts, and also our models, which are really role models, are from the Junior League of Sarasota. So again, for tickets, information on anything I just talked about, go to experiencegoodwill.org, get your tickets. If you want to be a sponsor for the Salute the Runway, we are always looking to help sponsor one of the female veterans so they can bring their family. So it's going to be fabulous. And CJ is going to be modeling, which leads me right into why don't I introduce you to CJ. CJ Bannister is the Director of Veteran Services for Goodwill, Manasota. So welcome.
Thank you.
And she's going to be talking about the amazing things that Goodwill has done under her leadership. So, and then tie it into Todd Hughes, who is the Veteran Services Administrator for USF Sarasota Manatee, and also a Goodwill Ambassador. So thank you. We're going to be talking to you about, just last week you had a grand opening for your Veteran Services Center.
Yes.
And we have Mr. Sarasota with us.
Yeah.
Bill Robertson, who is the CEO for Kirk Pinkerton Law, but also has many, many hats in our community and has made such an important awareness for a veteran. So he gets to talk about that too.
Thank you.
So, God, when it's such a great show, who do I start with? But ladies first. So,
Absolutely.
why don't we talk about the Veteran Services Program?
Fantastic. Well, I came on board 2 years ago, almost. Has it been? Yeah. It's been so long. I don't know. And when I came on board, the CEO, Bob Rosinski, and you had told me just that you had big hearts to grow a veterans program, to help them in any way transition from the military life to the civilian life. And so what we did is we looked at different ways to raise funds for our program, and we just received the Homeless Veterans Reintegration Program grant from the federal government, which has just been instrumental in helping the homeless veterans, whether they're homeless living on the streets, or they were homeless because they lost their home in a fire, or they were homeless because they got evicted.
You name it. It could be anything.
So we're helping them, using the money to get them to remove whatever barriers they have to employment, and getting them jobs. We do job interview skills and resume training every Tuesday from 3 to 5. So if you're a veteran and you need help, please come join us. It is a free class. We just rolled out online courses to help them with their job skills and the transition to civilian life as well. So there are 3 different programs, though.
Yes.
Do you want me to talk about those?
Yes.
Okay. So aside from the homeless veterans reintegration program that we are doing right now, we also have the Veteran Services and Their Families program, which allows us to help veterans and their families. A lot of times, veterans are the only ones that qualify for services under the VA, but at Goodwill, we don't stop there. We know that the families sacrifice just as much as the veterans did, and we want to help them as well. So whatever needs that they may have, whether it's healthcare, we'll help them get acquainted with the VA healthcare clinics, or if it's finding a job, because we know that the spouse that traveled with her husband for 20 years didn't have a career because she had to pick up and move every time. So the third program that we have is SERVE, which is near and dear to my heart. We have two people that are instrumental in that program here.
And it stands for?
Special Emergency Resource for Veterans. And our very first recipient of that is Todd Hughes, one of the guys here. And the one that actually helped start the program, Bill Robertson, is here. And the first one to donate funds for that program. But what happened was, Bill was already instrumental in helping whenever we had a veteran that was in need. And so when I had a veteran walk in the last minute on a Friday that needed help paying his power bill because he didn't have a job yet and he had just gotten out of the military, I picked up the phone and called Bill and said, I need last minute funds. And he was right there. Him, Jamie DiDomenico was, and Steve Hall. They came together to pay these bills for this veteran that was about to have his power shut off and other things. And so we collectively got together and decided to instead of be reactive, be proactive. And so that's where SERVE came from. We started that, and then the first recipient was Todd Hughes when he and his family lost their home in a fire. And we have such an incredible veterans community. I honestly think we have one of the best in the country, although I did hear yesterday that we have one of the best in the state, but I'm going bigger.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, we had one of the most instrumental ones in helping Todd, and our SERVE program was also Operation Second Chance. That's an organization based out of DC that helps heroes move on. And they came to the rescue as well and sent Todd and his family while they were. I remember calling Todd one day and I said, Todd, how are you doing today? And he said, you know what, CJ, I don't know if I should be buying my son underwear or silverware. Like, I don't know what to do. I can't imagine what it's like.
When you lose everything.
When you lose everything. But he's a veteran, a combat veteran. His wife was a veteran. And we knew that we wanted to rally the forces and come together and make sure we could help him. So I am so proud of what we're doing at Goodwill. Make sure that you're donating to Goodwill or shopping at Goodwill, because what you do helps us help these veterans. And I don't know. Oh, yeah. It makes me feel good about it. I don't know.
I was like, is she going to take a breath? Good Lord. But anyway, exactly what CJ was talking about. When you donate or shop, you're actually allowing us to help people with job skills, job training, and job employment. But also beyond that, with the Veteran Services Program, helping them reintegrate back into the civilian workforce. And in many cases, helping them get back on their feet. So, and kind of transitioning into Bill, it was your talk law show that, if you want to talk about it, and then we can tie it all in again.
Yeah, we started at the firm, the Kirk Pinkerton firm, just a plug for the firm. We're the oldest firm in Sarasota and very strong in veteran support. My partner Tom Schultz is in the studio with us. He's a veteran, and our guys at the office decided about 5 years ago that we wanted to create a scholarship fund for veterans, and so we donated $2,500 a year to make available to scholarship recipients. And we decided, well, how do we vet the vets as to who's legit? So that's when we paired up with you guys to bring us the veterans who were in need. And I remember the one guy that first came in, his gentleman needed 4 or 5 credits to finish his AA, and older gentleman, and we paid that tuition to SCF, and he graduated with honors and came back with his tassel, and really cool. And we said, well, gosh, that's great. How do we do more? And so instead of just doing piecemeal one at a time, I'd been hosting a show called Let's Talk Law for 4 years on WSRQ. Every Friday, and so we decided, well, why don't we make one of the shows the last Friday of every month a veteran-centric show? And so we had the first show, and CJ was there, and we started talking, well, what do we call it? So we called it Helping Our Heroes, and we came up with that at one of the breaks. And so we've had the Kirk Pinkerton Helping Our Heroes efforts since then. The show on Friday would feature a veteran in financial need. We also would bring in a veteran looking for employment. One of our first veterans was Todd. He was still an undergrad or just graduating at the time, looking for what he wanted to do next in his life. That's how we got to know him. And then I'm also involved in the CEO Forum, which is a group of about 100 CEOs in our region. And so I would bring on a CEO to talk about employment. So we had 3 components: the adopt a vet component, which is the financial need; the employment for the vet looking for employment, and then trying to connect with the CEOs for hiring purposes. And so that was the format for a couple of years. And out of that sprung the SERVE Fund, because we found, there's a big gap between vets when they here's your DD 214, honorable discharge, thank you very much, now what's next? They hadn't put a resume together, they don't know where to go from that. So we said there's some gap funding needed. That's when the SERVE Fund came up. So bottom line is, our firm has always been highly supportive of veterans. I come from a long military history. Great-grandfather, Confederate colonel, grandfather, artillery commander, World War I. My dad was wounded in the Battle of the Bulge, and uncle was killed in Italy. So, I was the first generation that didn't serve. And the fact that you guys put your lives on the line to allow me the freedoms to practice law and to talk on the radio just has always been a strong part of my life. So we like to give back, and the firm's always been supportive of that. So that's kind of how we got this thing where it is, and it's been great to see, after the fact, all the testimonials. I think we got employment for every veteran we featured. We met every financial need that was brought up.
Did.
We've continued the SERVE Fund and looked to endow that into this Veterans Day, so that's going to go on. The bad news is I stopped the radio show last month after 4 years because I'm kind of tired. But I've been doing that a long time. But moving forward, we want to keep the Helping Our Heroes effort at the firm going forward, because it's really been a great thing. So we've continued it with a fund that we just donated, made a $5,000 pledge to USF Sarasota Manatee.
Fantastic.
To support Todd's program, which he can talk about. They did a ribbon cutting ceremony yesterday. And so, our firm is continuing in its efforts to support veterans, and I think it's probably been the highlight of my career. I've been practicing law 32 years, and I feel like I've been able to do more through these efforts and with our firm's support and my partners at Kirk Pinkerton to thank those who give us the freedoms to do what we're doing, sitting here today without worrying about somebody coming in and shooting us. And that's because you guys. And I thank you very much for that freedom.
I have to say that, Bill, honestly, you and your law firm have been instrumental in helping our program grow. Everything that you have done has made a difference in so many veterans' lives. And I hope that you know that. I hope that you know that just because the radio show is no longer there, that your legacy will live on. You've done so many great things, and I couldn't be more proud to be a partner of yours. So thank you.
Thank you very much. You couldn't have done it without supportive partners like Tom and the guys back at the office who are working as we speak. So I thank them for that support as well. They've been very supportive of our efforts.
Very cool.
And we can make you a fixture on this show, so you can come back and give us updates on everything.
Be happy to. I think this Helping Our Heroes format that we have, this hiring and the networking, which is kind of one of my strong suits, is a great thing, and I don't think we need to stop just because we're not doing the radio. I just think it's a great format. And to see a guy like Todd, who's now heading up the Veterans Affairs up there at USF, it's amazing to see, and it's really cool. It's really, really rewarding.
Well, I love the fact that, and I want to shout out some names, because while you had that radio show and you brought those CEOs from the CEO Forum, Jamie D. Domenico, Steve Hall.
Yep.
I mean, there's a whole list of great people that were right there with you saying yes. So I definitely want to do a shout out, because we're always looking for funds, because we never know when that veteran's going to come in. And like you said, on a Friday, because God knows everyone does wait for Friday, don't they?
Well, and veterans are a little too proud to ask sometimes until the last minute.
Yeah. But, it could be that their car isn't working, and, they can't even go pick up their kids, and not to mention go to work. So anytime that we can actually help support and provide these services, and like CJ talked about, she goes through to make sure that we're not duplicating any other service out there,
That's
that
true.
we're actually working with other organizations who focus on transportation or focus on housing. So when you make a donation, be sure that it's entrusted, and we are doing the best return on your investment and helping those who need it the most.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I mentioned real quickly, the SERVE Fund, it's 100% tax deductible. And if you have a specific veteran that you want to service, you can say, I want this to go to Todd Hughes, for example, and click on and donate. That will be used for Todd Hughes' his financial needs, using his as an example. So 100% goes right to the veterans. There's no administrative cost, and that's unusual for
It
funding.
is.
Anytime somebody calls me and wants a donation, whether it be the Fraternal Order of Police or whatever it is, I say, how much of the money that I give you goes to them? And it's usually 50% or something. But in this particular case, in the SERV fund, 100 cents on the dollar goes to that SERV fund that CJ's able to use at the last minute. And it's been a real neat thing. And I'm really proud of that legacy that's part of the Goodwill repertoire.
So, absolutely.
Yes.
Can I put a comment in about Jamie DiDomenico, who owns Cool Today? He just hired 3 more of our veterans.
Oh, see?
He's going above and beyond.
Love
still.
you, Jamie. Yes. And it is partnerships with Goodwill that are helping us really, really serve those who have served us. So,
absolutely. I love that line.
Hey, I just patented it, thank you. Anyway, so you've been quiet the entire time. Not anymore.
That's not normal for Todd.
Because it's funny because we all work together.
Yes.
So why don't you first talk about the veteran services at USF, and then we can tie in how we work together.
Okay, so we had our grand opening of the center yesterday, as you mentioned. It's the Military and Veteran Success Center. Our main focus is, of course, the GI Bill, assisting the veterans in getting their benefits, depending on which GI Bill they need to use or qualify for. But we also have many veterans that don't qualify for the GI Bill. So this is an area where we can serve them and connect them with different resources, connect them with scholarships, and try to go above and beyond just the regular benefits. We're also, with the donations we're receiving, we're working on some different projects that we want to do for the veterans. We want to make them more marketable after they graduate, and we want to work with Goodwill more and bring in some of the veterans they're trying to get hired. So a couple of the things we're working on right now is a certificate in IT security. So it doesn't really, you don't have to be an IT major at our school to do that, because you work with computers almost anywhere you go now. So if you can learn how to combat viruses and do different stuff, it'll be a
So it's a certification program?
Right.
So not a degree?
It's not going to be a degree, so it'll be something that students can do, and we can bring in some of our other partners that maybe they're not student veterans, but we can get them involved in this.
But having that certification becomes more employable for them. So that's awesome.
Definitely. And another one we're working on is the Lean Six Sigma. We want to certify a lot of our veterans in that.
What is it?
Lean Six Sigma. So
say that 5 times fast.
Yes, no. I have a hard time saying it once. But that's another tool that will help them be more marketable. It's really good for business majors and
so what does
finance
it do?
majors. It teaches them to, we say cut the fat. That's basically the best way I know how to say it. But, make things more streamlined, more affordable, do things without costing extra money,
Okay.
I don't know the lingo. I have a veteran that is heading it up. He's a certified trainer, so he's going to be the one heading it up, Carlos Morera. So he's an awesome one of our students. He's one of our work studies, and he's really wanting to give back. Yes, Marine Corps. So.
Oh, very, very nice. So, and right now we're in discussions with USF to bring back the Vet to Chef program, which is very exciting. So anybody who's watching the show and wants to learn more about how to support the Vet to Chef program with Goodwill and USF, definitely reach out to me at experiencegoodwill.org. Like how I do that. Well, what else is happening?
Tons is happening. We are having more and more scholarships. We have a internship scholarship now for our veterans. So if a company's looking for interns and they need to get in there, we have funds to be able to get them paid, so that it definitely assists both the company.
We need to talk.
So a company who needs an intern and definitely is looking for a veteran, because when you're talking about veterans, they bring so much more to the plate. So now funds.
Yes, now
really.
And that's crucial, and it's going to be amazing for them to have that experience and not have to.
Do you want to switch seats so you could just?
Yeah, I actually, can I steal you after this?
Yes. But that's huge, so that they can get the experience to get into the career field that they want to get into without having to worry about. Yes, we have a lot of our students want to go to law school after they graduate with their bachelor's. So
I want to do cookie forensics.
Hey.
I dissect the cookie, understand really how it's made.
Well, listen, we know it can happen, because your partner just told us earlier that he went to law school on the GI Bill. So
yes.
it can happen.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Don't let him lose that dream.
No.
And if you're an employer out there that is thinking about hiring a veteran, don't be scared of the PTSD and all that. Listen, what a veteran brings to the table far outweighs someone that just gets out of college.
Right.
They will go above and beyond. They will work harder than you've ever seen before. I truly believe that.
Right. I think I would comment on that as well. And the employability, what you see is you have the generation X, Y, Z, and double secret generation, all these different generations and their work ethics, which is a big issue for us as employers. And I've been in the business for 32 years. And with each generation comes a different work ethic. But the only group of potential employees that transcends all of those quirks are the veterans, because they're trained to do it when you tell them to do it and how to do it, and by the time you tell them to do it, and to show up on time. And that's a unique skill set no matter what generation they come from. So basically the military trains out of them all the generational quirks that society puts in them. So that I think that across the boards, no matter what age, that they talk about the millennials. Right now, each of us is surrounded, about 3 or 4 people around us is a millennial, and that comes with its own quirks. But if they've been through the military has trained out of them the employability quirks that society has put in them. So it gives you an employee that you don't have to worry about. They say, yes, sir, no, sir, when, how high, I'm on it. And that's really important for employers out there. And I think a lot of employers say, well, gosh, if I hire a veteran, does it mean it's the guy on the corner saying, veteran need work? No, there are those out there who have issues. But across the boards, there's a lot of highly skilled veterans that have skill sets they've developed in the military that translate very well to the private sector and will step up and quick learners. And I think it's an awesome opportunity for an employer.
There's even some that don't. Don't be afraid to hire a bomb technician, because I promise you they know how to pay attention to details.
Yes. And the PTSD.
Well, Steve Hall was that, I believe. He trained in bomb.
He was chemical warfare.
Chemical warfare. Steve,
which
of
he
all
needed to
trust,
pay
and he's
attention.
one of our partners who's helped us out. But yeah.
He's awesome.
Right, and the PTSD stigma is actually very low. It's less than 20% of veterans, I believe, that see combat actually have PTSD. So it's a very low chance. And of those that do have PTSD, not everybody has as issues that will keep them from employment.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. It's real.
It is.
And there are some, veterans that are facing, healing from that. But for the most part, they can control it with counseling and family and supportive services like what you're doing at USF. When I walked into that room yesterday, I remember just feeling such a sense of pride, because I know what helps them heal more is the camaraderie that they're missing from their brothers and sisters in arms over in Iraq or Afghanistan or wherever they came from. Yes. So, if you're a veteran, get connected. Come to Goodwill, come see us, go to USF. Don't be afraid to reach out. But few and far between are the ones that have such a severe PTSD that they can't work. But of those, we'll be there helping them. So don't be afraid to hire them.
Good. Well, geez. And then just a shout out for other folks who work with Goodwill and hire veterans. Children's World. Because they've hired a few of our veterans.
They have, and they're just a small little company, but they love every one of the veterans we send to them. They're such a great couple. It's a great little business, and they support us wholeheartedly, and they continue to say that their best employees are the veterans that they've hired.
Absolutely. And Turner Tree Landscaping, thank you for hiring our veterans. There's so many, and it should be our duty to definitely help these veterans reintegrate back into the civilian workforce. Like you said, they're highly qualified, and thank you, Representative Greg Stubbe, for making some changes too, so things translate while you were in the military to now when you're back here in the U.S. And it could range from emergency. What am I thinking?
EMT.
Thank you, EMT.
Combat medics to EMT, firefighters, security forces, things like that.
Right.
The other thing he did is he just got past that. When you're a veteran, you identify as a veteran when you come out, and you're going to get your Florida driver's license. If you identify as a veteran, they'll get you a resource guide, which we developed at Goodwill, that has all of the veterans agencies and services that you need. So they'll ask you, would you like to be on the list to receive information for local services? And so that to me is incredible, because I know when I got out, I had no clue where to go, what to do. All I know is they gave me a DD Form 214 and said, you have a GI Bill. So I knew I needed to find a college with my DD Form 214, and that was about it. So it's invaluable to the veterans that are coming out today. So he did a great job with that.
And what did you do in the service?
Well, the first 4 years I was a crew chief, a jet mechanic on A-10s. That's the job they gave me. I had no choice. But it was probably one of the funnest things I've ever done and one of the hardest jobs I've ever had. I have done my fair share of sleeping in foxholes, but the truth is that all the bullets chasing me were blanks. So I was in during peacetime. But the last 4 years I was a paralegal. I worked for the JAG. And that was quite interesting too. But I'll tell you, it's one of the reasons I do and feel so strongly about what I do now. Because when I got out, I was a paralegal, which I thought would make an easy transition. But my resume was full of Air Force codes, or military jargon as we call it. And so I just got lucky because a few weeks after I hadn't heard anything, a gentleman gave me a phone call, and he was a former JAG, and he said, I wish I could remember his name, but he said, CJ, he said, we already filled our position. I wish I hadn't, but I wanted to give you a call because I love your resume, but I'm probably the only one that would understand it. So he literally took me 20 minutes and had me cross out what we called it in the military and write in what we called in the civilian world. He said, you're doing all the same things. And it wasn't but a week later, I had job offers. And that's the kind of things facing us, you know, veterans still getting out.
And that's
not
what you do.
That
right
is what
now.
I do.
So now you're helping someone else.
I
So
am.
pay it forward. That's
Pay it
awesome.
forward, yeah.
So let's give the websites.
Okay. On experiencegoodwill.org, make sure you click on Veteran Services and you'll find out all the information you need. Do not be afraid to give us a call.
Excellent. Website.
usfsm.edu, and we have a veteran link underneath the student tab.
Excellent. And then come out, check out the new center.
Yes.
And Mr. Sarasota, your website?
Is kirkpinkerton.com.
No hyphen, just Kirk Pinkerton.
kirkpinkerton.com. And everybody listening, take a chance, or watching, take a chance when you see a veteran, thank them for their service.
Absolutely.
I know that means a lot. They need that. If you see somebody at lunch who's a veteran, pick up the tab. Give back.
Oh yeah, it's the least we can do, and again, it's veterans like you, so thank you for your service, and then people who are making a difference in our community, and that is you. So
Absolutely.
You and your firm, thank you everything, because you're giving back, and I want others who are watching to join the bandwagon and say, hey, what can I do? How can I hire a veteran? How can I provide services or support someone else, like the USF program or the Goodwill program or Jewish Families Veteran Services program? There's numerous organizations out there that are truly helping veterans, and collectively we can make this a better quality life for all of them in our community. So I hope you take the time to do that. Any last words before we close out?
Just make sure that this Memorial Day you're thinking about the veterans and those who served and gave their life.
Yes. How about you? One last
Same
word?
thing.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Absolutely. It's my honor and privilege to do this, and it's probably the highlight of my career. I've been practicing law 32 years, but this has been the most rewarding thing I've been able to do, to give back to these veterans. And if you haven't been to the VA cemetery out there off of Clark Road, go there. It's awe-inspiring.
Patriot Plaza.
Patriot Plaza, amazing. And
Amazing.
it'll
Very
blow you away.
powerful.
And just go out there and just have a silent moment and give thanks for those who are there, who gave us the freedom to sit here and do this.
Exactly. And we're very lucky to have such a beautiful memorial area for our veterans. So yeah, definitely check out Patriot Plaza. Anyway, thank you for joining us, and I hope you enjoy your Sunday. And remember, thank a veteran. Take care.